What's up, y'all? I just wanted to make a video and really just introduce myself as a person, as an artist, as a friend, and just put this out there. And I'm just driving, got a little bit of a commute to work right now, so just wanted to, share a little bit more about who I am, and for those of you who don't know. And so my name's Luke Boland. I grew up in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and just recently, over the last 4 or 5 years, had moved to Edmonton, Alberta, which was a huge leap. And there's a lot of intricate details of why I had moved out here. My parents had moved, and my brother and my sister had moved a couple years before I did. And I ended up moving 2 years later because I had stuck around in Ontario doing a few different things. I had a media company that I was running, doing music videos, photography, different things of that nature. I had some great friends out there, some great relationships that I had built, but it was also my first opportunity that I ever had in my life where I didn't have parents around to tell me like, oh, you got to be home at this time, you can't do that, you can't do that. And so honestly, I was high. Like, I smoked so much weed for those 2 years. I was pretty much high all the time, went to work high, and that was just the life that I lived, thinking that maybe I might find a sense of like freedom in it, and it really didn't bring me the freedom that I was hoping that it would bring. And what it did over those 2 years was really started to, I got lazy. I honestly got really lazy. I got to a point where even music videos and shoots that I would try so hard to get clients for, I would just call them up the day of and I'd have to cancel just because I had so much anxiety and so much just anxiousness around going and shooting those things because I was high or because I was coming off of being high or whatever it was at the time. And so I ended up having just a really deep conversation with a great friend of mine, Josh, and shout out to Josh Vanscoy for just being a solid rock and a solid brother in my life. And he encouraged me. He just said, dude, I feel like God is calling you to move out to Edmonton. He said, I could see you being a leader. I could see you being an artist, making your own music. I feel like being out here doing media, photos and videos is one of the many things that you're good at. And just really encouraged me to take that step and just get out of that rut that I was in and go make some changes. And so I was super addicted to nicotine. I was very addicted to smoking weed. And when I had moved, I quit cold turkey on all those things and never looked back. That was the last time I vaped, last time I smoked weed was before I left Ontario. And so started replacing a lot of the bad habits in my life with some better habits, and just really trying to be intentional about my health, my mindset, my spiritual life, getting closer to God, like really trying to figure out what is this whole God thing about. You know, I had moved into that woke culture a little bit at one point and was like meditating, which I don't think that there's anything wrong with meditating. I think it is great to sit down and just have silence for a little bit and just find some peace there. And I did find peace in that. But there was always something that was missing. There was always this deep, desperate need in my heart for healing. And there was like, you know, I've heard people talk about there being this God-sized puzzle piece in your heart, and you can fill it. You can try and put whatever else you want into there, but nothing will fit the way that God fits in there, because he was meant to be there. We weren't meant to do this walk in this life on our own. Genesis talks about it. It was a partnership with God. It was a mutual. We were to collaborate with God in the creation, in a sense, where He created us to create and to build and to man the land and to be, to rule over the animals and everything. And so when you take God out of that part of your heart, you're going to try and fill it because you're looking for something. You're looking for something to fill it. But so that was me. And then when I started, when I got rid of those things that was temporarily always satisfying my soul, when I finally got rid of those things and started just focusing on taking care of my health and figuring out what the Lord's all about, you know, figuring out who Jesus is and what does that mean, and really trying to get rid of all the stuff that I heard my whole life and just hear with fresh eyes for the first time. And it completely changed my life. That year, I had gone from like being in debt, stupid debt, just random stuff, not even anything productive, addicted to different things, and God had given me freedom from all those things. And in that 1 year, so much had changed my life. I had so much desire to make music and to record and to do all that sort of stuff. And so I ended up being able to afford to buy my own studio equipment, a good starter kit to start making some music and getting some of that stuff out there. And so it was an absolute blessing what had happened once I had taken that leap. Now, this is the thing. A lot of people and from what I've seen, a lot of people become a Christian and everything's great for the first year. And I think that it's like it's new and it's exciting, and like this love from God, it's just all these things is so exciting. And then God always remains the same, but sometimes what ended up happening, at least for me, what I'll say for myself, was the journey started to get tough because I hit this like desert wilderness season, and I still don't fully understand maybe why I needed to go through certain seasons that I had gone through, but it just felt like God was so distant. It felt like I was on my own. I had a lot of friends and people that I was, really, really engaged with, and slowly things started dwindling out with that. And it felt like it was just me. And it was a really tough season for me, a really tough chapter of my life. I ended up like moving away from making music. I started to get into this mentality, and there's nothing, I don't think that there's anything entirely wrong with the way that I had been thinking. It just wasn't the direction God was calling me. But I started thinking like, man, I got to get my finances to the point where I've got assets and I've got different revenue sources and different things where I can be completely free financially, and I don't need to worry about money, and then I can make music full time and quit my job and this and that, which I think is a great idea. I still think it's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But the more that I move through life, I start realizing like, man, I truly, truly, truly believe that God's called me into the music scene. That's where He wants me. That's the gift that He's given me. Every time I sit down to write, time I sit down to make a new song, it's like stuff just starts coming out, and it's the Holy Spirit just moving through the music. And it's just confirmation every single time that, hey, this is where I want to place you. This is your placement. This is your assignment here on this earth, is to make music. And so I had jumped around. Like at first I was making pop kind of music, and then I started rapping, and I think I don't think it was bad. I think it was like I think it was great. I also think it was an experimental season of just trying to figure out, okay, God wants me in this music scene. What area in this scene does He want me? Does He want me in the hip hop rap? Does He want me moving towards the country industry? Does He want me doing like a whole bunch of stuff? And so I think I'm still in that season. Like I got songs that are more rock kind of style even, and then I got other songs that are probably closer to the country style, things that are more pop, like radio hits and whatnot. And so I'm really just navigating that sort of stuff right now. But what I have done in the last little bit of my life here is I just really eliminated most things that had nothing to do with loving the Lord, making music, and working, paying my bills. And so that's really been my focus. And I would say my dream moving forward and kind of looking into the future here is just to be faithful in every season with what God's given me. Because I think it's really easy for me to start dream building and being like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, and get really fired up about all these things. But I heard someone said this, some like, I don't know, he's like a monk or something, I'm not 100% sure, but he said that someone had asked him, what's your favorite place to be? And he said, wherever I am. And that really stuck with me, and I think it relates a lot to when I'm in different seasons. It's like I need to be a good steward of that season and not be always looking to the next season. Oh, what's next? and just be a good steward of the season that I'm in, because I got seasons in my past that I look back on and I'm like, man, I wish I really embraced that season. I wish I really dove deeper into that, man. There's people in my life, like my grandpa passed away probably almost like 10 years ago at this point. But when he was alive, man, there's so many things that I wish I had asked him, so many things that I wish I had engaged in with him, and I just never did, and I never took the time to do that. He would take me once a week or every other week out to McDonald's, and we would get a drink and some fries, and we would just sit there and we would talk. But I wish I took that time to be more intentional, really spend that time in those moments, and really cherish them. And so learning from that, like now that's where I am in this season. It's just being faithful with the relationships that I have in my life, being faithful with the job that I have, being faithful with the money that I have, being faithful with my music, my mixes, even when I'm engineering, like putting together a song. Because I don't know if anybody knows this, or maybe you do, maybe you don't, I'm not sure, but like I do everything for my music, and I know it ain't perfect, I know it's not perfect, but writing, mixing, mastering, producing, all that stuff, like everything, playing the instruments, I do all that stuff. There's rarely do I ever pull a sample or use something from somebody. Sometimes I'll pull samples, but most of the time I'm playing these things out on my own. And so even just being faithful in those little things, like, it's easy to be like, I'm gonna just throw this song out and it's missing, appropriate compression on this kick or something. I can tell it's off or whatever. It's like, be faithful with it before you put it out. Go ahead, dive into it, fix something up, make it sound good with what you've got. And while also trying not to be like an overly, a perfectionist to the point where I'm never putting anything out because I'm too insecure about it or whatever. And so I feel like I'm kind of yapping at this point, kind of rambling on a little, but I just wanted to share that and kind of get that off my chest, and let you guys kind of in on my life, because I think that vulnerability is important, and I think letting people know kind of where I'm at will help just the connection between myself and the people that listen to my music, and because honestly, I'll look at my listeners and I'm like, wow, like this, I think there was like 17,000 different listeners all across the board in the last year, and I'm just thinking, holy man, that's 17,000 different people who have heard my music, which I just think is really cool. And I want to be able to, I want people to know about me if they want to know, so I want to be able to, I don't want to be this secret guy where it's like, oh, he's so mysterious and this and that. Like, I just want to put stuff out there, and I want to be open and vulnerable and honest. And so I'll probably make more content like this, put out more videos like this, but for now, that's where I'm at. That's Luke Boland. And so if I ever have anything else that I want to talk on, I'll do it. And if you guys have questions about my journey, questions, things that you want to hear about, things you want to hear more about, please send a comment, say, hey, can you talk about this? Hey, I'm curious about this part of your life. Hey, can we talk about this or that, or whatever it is? Like, dude, I'll just be honest and I'll share on whatever you want to talk about. So God bless you guys. Blessings. Peace out. See ya next time.